Hi, it's Jared from Strong Roots Farm. Today I'm coming to you with a video that is kind of unlike any other video that I've done on my channel, but I want to speak to you specifically about the life before. And so let's get right into it. With COVID-19 out there and all of the pandemic, the global pandemic that's going on, I've heard the statement, what was life like before the pandemic? And so we talk about life changes, things that have gone on and things that are happening in your life. And often we reference these in points in time as in life before this happened, life before that happened. So I want to take you through some of the things in my life so you can kind of understand how things are different and change happens in your life and talk about that as we go through. So if you've been following along with our channel for a while, you know we're here to help people learn to garden, help people understand how to grow their own food, help people understand how to grow a sustainable homestead or homesteading life. That's what we're here for. But I often think, what was life like before? What was life like before farming? Before the interest in food, before the interest in cattle and pigs and chickens and being self-sustaining, before we started growing our own food and trying to encourage others to do that? What was life like? What did our life consist of when we didn't spend time gardening? What was life like before marriage? What was it like to be single and to do whatever you want, whenever you wanted, and never have to worry about anybody else's feelings or thoughts? And then you have kids. What was life like before kids? Having to worry about what they're doing, when they're doing it, if they're okay, having to play with sports and deal with activities in them and not able to focus just on yourself. And then ultimately in our lives, the ultimate price of losing a child. What was life like before we lost a child? One of the greatest things in my life, the military. What was life like before the military, where I first discovered the meaning of brotherhood? What was it like to lose friends at war and build bonds with guys that you'll never have with anybody else? What was it like to meet veterans and understand why big tough men now cry? What was life like before all this stuff happened in my life? It just was. This is what shapes us as people. Life will return when we get out of COVID. Life will return back to normal, maybe. And if not, it's just different than it was before. In fact, everything that's happened to me in my life, the struggles of war, the loss of a child, having kids, being married, all the things that we've gone through, the bad times, the valleys, all of those things, I would choose to go through again. I would choose the struggle because of the strength it brings at the end. The only thing, and I still would do it the exact same way, that I can't go back on is my salvation. You see, when I hear what was life like before, the number one thing I think of is what was my life like before Christ, before I got saved, before I chose to follow him and to let him pay for my sin. What was life like? What would I be today if it wasn't for that decision I made as a 15-year-old young boy? What would have happened? And so I think about all the problems that people are having or saying that are struggling right now through the pandemic, and I'm empathetic to it. I understand what you're going through. I understand the socialization, the masks, and all the craziness that's going on in our world. I understand the struggle that people have with PTSD and war and those kind of things, and I'm empathetic towards it. I haven't had to deal with any of that, but I understand it. I understand where you're coming from. I understand what causes those things. I understand the loss of losing loved ones and a child. But all of this stuff we've gone through, it makes us stronger if we choose to go through it. In fact, everything that we go through will make us stronger in the end. The only thing that we can miss that would not make us stronger is salvation. If we choose not to follow Christ, if we choose not to make that decision in our life, we're ultimately saying, I don't care about the payment for my sin. I don't care about what happens, or I'm going to choose another way. I think there's a better way or another way. All of those things will make us weaker. Salvation in my life and in my family's life and in my military career and in my job career, Christ has done so much for us that it would be a pandemic if we did not choose him. You think pandemic life now is bad. Choose a life without Christ. You're choosing an entire life of pandemic struggles. Pandemic is life without Christ. So this video has been very different from anything I've ever done, especially on my channel. I've focused only on gardening, and I've stayed away from politics for the most part. I've stayed away from religion. Other than that, I've creeped in and shown you my salvation and my testimony a little bit. I've talked a little bit about my family, but I've never come to you and said, the real hope is not that you grow carrots or good lettuce or good cucumbers. The good hope is that you have Christ and you have his love and his Holy Spirit inside your heart. So I want to invite you to do that. I want to invite you to seek a church in your local area. If you're here close to us in Brown County, Ohio, we go to Resonance. It's right there in Mount Orb as we get back. But right now is a great time. Pandemic is a great time to say, you know what, let's try out church. Because you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about people looking at you. You don't have to worry about, do I have to see new people or get in there and is this going to be the right church for me or not? You don't have to worry about any of that. It's all online. Go online, try out a church, and then when you find one that you like, and you find a pastor that you like, and you find music that you like, then when we're lifted, when this pandemic, this stay-at-home order is lifted, then go and visit. Every week there's a salvation message at our church. And it's very simple. Christ came to die for your sin because you have sin. You've done something wrong in your life. Everybody has. Nobody's perfect. He came to die for it. He says all you have to do is confess with your mouth that you choose him, and he will pay for your sin, and you can go to heaven when you die. He's already paid that price for your sin. He loved you so much that he did that 2,000 years ago. But now it's your choice whether you make that and follow him or not. I promise you, if church was just a social club, if it was all fake, if nothing was real, it would still be a great blessing in my life. But that hope, that joy that I get, and that knowing, I know in my heart that I'm saved. That knowing gives me so much. And he's fulfilled life, my entire life since I was 15. He showed up. He's shown me answers to prayer. He's shown us blessings as a family. And you see some of the struggles that we've gone through, losing a child and losing friends in war. He was there through all of that. He can be there for you. So I know this video today is not about growing your own vegetables and homesteading and all those things, but I promise you the message that I give today is a message that will feed you for an entire life. Jesus says, I am the bread of life. He will feed you your entire life. He will become a well of water springing up within your soul so that you'll never thirst again. Ultimately, it doesn't matter about carrots and cucumbers and those things. If you learn one thing from me from watching all of my videos and clicking likes every time and commenting every time, if you learn one thing, it's that you need Christ and that he will feed you better than I ever can. There's nothing I can do to repay him, and there's nothing that I can give to you more than he gave to you. So I hope this helps. I hope you'll seek somebody. I hope you'll seek a church. I hope you'll find Christ. And if you're already a Christian, I hope you'll talk to somebody else. I hope you'll lead somebody. I hope you'll disciple somebody into following Christ as well. This pandemic is a great time to join into a church. But ultimately, this thing is not the worst thing that's going to happen to us. It's not the worst thing that ever has happened to us. The worst thing that can ever happen to us is living a life without Christ, because a life without Christ, that's a true pandemic.